Hey cruisers, we're just back from an amazing Alaska cruise, but those cruise line excursion prices, yikes, ouch. Excursions in Alaska are pricey no matter how you book them, but there is a way to explore glaciers, spot whales, and save some serious cash while guaranteeing that you will absolutely get back to the ship on time. You don't have to book with your cruise line. Today's video is sponsored by the Shore Excursions Group, and let me tell you, they are a game changer for pricey destinations like Alaska. Now, we have just come off of 2 cruises up there, and we tried 2 excursions that were brand new to us in Sitka and Juneau. So we're gonna break down the actual tour costs with the Shore Excursion Group, let you know what they would cost through the cruise line, and tell you what you can expect on these exact adventures that we tried, and what you should take with you, pack, prepare, if you do decide to book these tours. So we're gonna link to the exact tours that we booked so that you can research them on your own. And the way you do that is just plug in your cruise dates on the Shore Excursion Group website. If we haven't met, I'm Sherry with CruiseTipsTV.com. I help travelers with packing, destination inspiration, and getting the most out of your cruise vacation. We'd love to invite you to stick around by subscribing and dropping us a comment anytime. All right, let's unlock the secrets to affordable Alaska. So our first excursion was in Sitka, Alaska. And if you're lucky enough to go to Sitka, it is such an amazing place. And one thing you definitely want to do if you go to Sitka is get out on the water. The Sitka Sound is absolutely spectacular. The whale watching is phenomenal, and there's so much to do, whether you choose to go snorkeling or maybe you go on a wild wave runner tour. But we did something that we thought we could never afford to do, you guys. We did basically a semi-private whale watching tour. It was called Whale Watching and Marine Wildlife Tour in Sitka. So it cost $230 per person to book it through Shore Excursion Group. Now, if you book it through the cruise website, you're going to pay about $240 per person. But wait, this is where it gets crazy. On our tour, where we paid $230 per person, there was a max of 6 people on the boat. So we're talking basically about a private to semi-private tour. On that cruise price website that I told you, or the cruise line price that I told you of $240 per person, that is on a similar tour with up to 20 people. So it's a totally different ball game. So this tour was so cool, you guys. A Coast Guard licensed pilot who owned his own boat picked us up, gave us wristbands, and invited us onto the boat. It was myself, my husband, and my son. And it turns out there was just one other couple with us. So there were only 5 of us. It was basically like a private tour on someone's boat. It was like being at your friend's house and going out to see the best of Sitka. So basically what we did is go out in search of wildlife. We went out exploring, and our guide said, you know, we're going to see what we see today. We'll get you to some whales. I'm sure they're out here. The whale watching has been great. But he kind of just buzzed us around. So our boat was about 30 feet long approximately. And what was so nice about it is that it had a warm, heated cabin on the inside. So if you got kind of chilly, you could pop inside the cabin and toast up for a few minutes. But if you wanted to get out when there was maybe some whale watching or other marine life spotting happening, you could do that. It was really cool. So he just took us wherever the conditions would allow. We got to see, oh my goodness, we got to see eagles, we got to see sea lions, tons of precious little sea otters, and then the grand finale, an amazing display of whale sighting. I mean, it was just unbelievably cool. One of the things I really liked about this tour was it was only 2 hours long. So if you want to explore Sitka and do some other stuff, you can absolutely do that. You can take this short tour. It will not wear you out. It's very comfortable. You can sit or stand. And it is just one of those things that allows you to see the best of Sitka in a very short time, but in a really intimate environment. And let me tell you, it was worth every single penny. So if you choose to go on this tour, it's very, very easy to prepare for this one. It's not particularly sporty and you don't need a whole lot, but there are a couple things I would recommend. Number 1, I would recommend taking some cash for tipping. Number 2, take your own water. One thing I've noticed about excursions in Alaska these days is that they're not providing drinks. And so you probably want to take some bottled water with you, or a reusable water bottle filled with water, or a hot tea or hot cocoa, or whatever it is that you might want. Other than that, you just need to dress warmly. I would recommend a hat, a scarf, and a nice waterproof jacket in case it drizzles a little bit, some comfortable shoes that won't slip on the deck, and then some sunglasses, and you should be good to go. Just keep it waterproof and you're going to have the time of your life. We're so glad that we did this one. All right, you guys want to hear about excursion number 2 that we booked with Shore Excursion Group. Now this one was kind of interesting because you could have actually booked this exact tour through the cruise companies, and we saw lots of people who had done just that. And this was the Mendenhall Glacier Float Trip in Juneau, and the cost when we went with Shore Excursion Group was about $209 per person. Had you booked this one through the cruise company, it would have been about $225 to $250 per person. So this was a way to see Mendenhall Glacier in a totally new way. And you might think, oh, a rafting trip, that sounds kind of vigorous. I don't know if I want to row for the day or get out there and have to do something really physical. We thought about that too. I thought, oh wow, we're going to be rowing. How interesting. Well, it turns out that when they say that you're going to paddle along the iceberg-studded Mendenhall Lake, the guide paddles the whole time. So the guide will have up to 10, 15 or so people on the boat, and he does all of the work for you. I should say he or she. There were female guides too. But let me back up for a moment and just tell you how this one gets started. So again, a bus will pick you up down at the dock. So if you're docked by the tram, they usually say, meet us under the tram and we're gonna put you on a bus. And then they take you out past Mendenhall Lake and you get suited up into some waterproof waders. Now waders protect you on the bottom half of your body. So they put you in warm, cozy shoes and then waders. So you take off your own shoes, you put them in a bucket, you leave them behind with anything that you didn't want to take on the boat that might get wet. And then you put on the waders. So you're responsible for keeping the top half of your body warm and dry. So that might mean a waterproof rain jacket. It might mean a cozy hat with your rain hood over top. It's probably enough, but definitely don't go into it just wearing a t-shirt. Even if it's a warm, sunny day, it can get cold out there on the lake, especially as you start kind of going down the rapids. So this is a relaxed and fun tour that lasts for a few hours. And basically you brave a few short stretches of class 3 rapids, although they're really short and they're not scary. You're not going to tip over. They've never had any accidents like that. They're going to teach you what to do if your raft gets stuck on a rock, or if there were a situation where you're about to tip, how to shift your body weight within the raft. But overall, guys, this is a really mellow and chill one, and a lot of people book this tour. It's very, very popular. The folks that were on our tour were all senior citizens, and they were very, very comfortable. In fact, toward the end of the tour, one of the adorable ladies on our boat, she actually said she fell asleep. She's like, that was so peaceful and relaxing floating down the river. I actually fell asleep, and her friends had to wake her up. So not vigorous, just wonderful. And again, I cannot emphasize to you how cool it is to see Mendenhall Glacier in a different way, from a different angle than the visitor center. And of course, this amazing thing happened when we were on this tour. A beautiful, just stunning rainbow appeared as we passed Mendenhall Glacier out in the distance. You're gonna love this one. You're probably gonna see bald eagles as well. And it is just a real treat. It's just such a nice thing to do. Then when you get to the bottom, they help you to get out of your gear, and then they serve you an amazing snack. They have the best salmon dip I have ever tasted and some veggies. So here's what you need to bring with you and some tips if you're going on this one. Again, remember, as I mentioned, you gotta make sure that you're protected, waterproof on the entire top of your body, because they only give you waders. So you need to make sure you have a raincoat, really super important, warm hat, maybe gloves, sunglasses are critical, and a camera. You are allowed to take any camera you want on this tour. It could be a GoPro, but your phone is probably fine. We all just used our phones and it was absolutely great. So yeah, take some dry socks maybe for the end of the tour. It's also really important, like I mentioned for the last tour, you need to take your own drink, something to drink. They did not offer drinks at the end. I think there was maybe a little thing of water that you could get, but you need to take a water bottle. And also definitely take some money to tip your guides on this one. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at 2 less expensive expensive ways to see Alaska. I know they're not free. Nothing is really free in Alaska unless you just choose to walk around for the day and not spend any money. But we highly recommend that you get out there and enjoy the natural beauty of these two very special ports, Sitka and Juneau. Now, don't forget, there's lots and lots more tours that you can check out on the Shore Excursion Group website, and you're going to plug in your cruise dates. When you figure out what tours you want to do, leave me a note down in the comments. We're so excited that you stopped by to watch. Make sure you check out our Alaska packing do's and don'ts and many, many other Alaska resources in the description and pinned to the top of the comments on this video. Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye-bye.